Hi everyone, it's Jessica. Thank you for coming back today as I am creating this one-page layout of my daughter a couple of years ago when she was eating her chocolate Easter bunny. And I think I'm going to use some of these Picture My Life cards that are from the new As You Grow collection from Close to My Heart. It's so hard to pick because the backs of all of them are so pretty also and so functional, but I do think I want to pull in some of those extra patterns. Now I've already gone ahead and matted my 4x4 photo on a piece of white daisy and also a piece of papaya cardstock. And then here you can see I prepared the background of my paper by doing some stitching with some embroidery thread. Now this design here is it's a cut file, but it's like a stitched cut file from Paige Evans. So I've gone ahead and taken some of those Picture My Life cards and I've used my different various thin cuts to kind of cut a couple of shapes out. I've got that like stitched scallop circle on there, and then I did this little tab here that I think I'm just going to kind of cut off and have tucked out or peeking out of the side of my photo. And I think I'm going to just kind of try to layer and cluster a bunch of these Picture My Life cards behind my photo. And yeah, I'm not really entirely sure at this point how it's going to come together. I know I want to do something like that, but I'm not really sure how or exactly what to do. I just know that I like that layered sort of look with a bunch of different papers, and so I kind of spend quite a bit of time fussing around with these Picture My Life cards and how I'm going to place them behind my photo. And I cut actually a bunch of it out because I figured at some point you would kind of get annoyed trying to watch all of that process come together. But I left some of it in here because I don't know if you're like me and you admire that look, but maybe you kind of struggle with it too. I thought maybe it would kind of help somebody else to see, just playing around and kind of trying to see what works. I do know that eventually when I figure out how I'm going to do it, I'm going to be cutting these Picture My Life cards down because I'm sure that I don't need to have them going all the way across the back of my photo. And if I can save any of that pretty paper, I know I'm going to do that. So I'm just trying to see where I want things to be poking out from behind my photo. And I don't know, I think about this for a little while because I thought maybe if I have the one going on an angle like the side of the heart, maybe, but no, ultimately this is kind of what I decide on. This is all, I just kind of dry fit this in here. And then like I said, I am going to cut those cards down because I don't need to have all 4x6 of that piece of paper behind there when really it's just going to be peeking out at the top and the bottom. And then also the Picture My Life card that's right behind my photo, I think I can probably save a little scrap out of that too. I know this is kind of silly, like, come on, Jessica, use your paper, but it's also pretty. I just can't let it be hidden by that photo and then not get used on another project. So I just use a pencil mark to kind of mark where my photo was going to be, and then I cut out a little piece of it so I could use it on another project. If you are, fussy like this, like me, please let me know in the comments so I know that I'm not the only one out there who does these kinds of things, but it's just too pretty to waste. Now, one other comment about this cut file while I'm kind of gluing some of this down here, the bottom of that heart is actually supposed to connect to the word love. And this is sort of a strange story, but I set my Cricut to cut it, and then I walked away to go pick up my kids. And when I came back, this is how much had poked out. And I thought, that's weird. I thought it was supposed to connect, but maybe it's not supposed to, and I just am not remembering correctly. So I went ahead and I added all of my stitching to it. And then I realized later when I was putting my computer and my Cricut away that it is actually in fact supposed to connect. And what happened is I didn't have my laptop plugged in while it was connected to the Cricut and cutting out. And I think my laptop kind of went into sleep mode right about the point where it was like about to connect the bottom of the heart together. And so I guess I kind of lucked out. The way that it finished cutting works. And so I just am kind of placing my photo in these paper clusters to hide where that one line of the heart comes in, and then it's just that word love over to the left side. And I think it works, but just if you go and check out this cut file from Paige Evans, that's not actually what it's supposed to look like. All right, now I did want to add just a little bit of texture to that piece that's going to be at the top and the bottom, so I pulled out my edge distressing tool and just kind of ruffled it up a little bit and then pushed my finger against it to make that white core show through a little bit. And then I'm really, like I said, I'm just kind of adhering some things down And of course, my tape runner has to act up. Seems like every now and then I'll get one that just always does that to me, and I have to fix it whenever I'm in the middle of using it. But I'm just making sure things are straight because, you know, I've got some at the top and some at the bottom, and even though it's not a full 4x6, I do want to make sure that it looks like it is. And so I'm just kind of placing all of that there. And yeah, so like I said, if you are into this look of kind of layering pieces of paper and that sort of thing behind your photo, if you have any tips to share, I would love to hear what they are. Or do you just kind of throw some things together until you achieve a look that you like? That was what I did. But like I said, it really was a bit of a struggle for me for a while. And if there's some secret out there, I would love to know what it is. And then I did get a little bit of adhesive where it didn't belong. So I just grabbed my Rub and Remove eraser and it pulls it up just like a dream. And you can't even tell it was there. All right, now I'm going to pull in some of my favorite embellishments here. These are from Close to My Heart. They're just some wooden hearts. And I'm just going to put them over top of that scalloped circle and then one down in the bottom left corner. I think about doing this open heart, but then I ultimately go with a solid one instead. And I really love all of the wooden embellishments that Close to My Heart carries. There are a bunch of new ones out with the new core catalog. And I always choose the side that kind of has that burned wood look to it. One side is a little bit cleaner and one has a little bit of a burned wood look to it. And I just love that. I think they're so beautiful. So I always flip mine up that way. All right, and then I'm just pulling some stickers from the As You Grow sticker sheet. And this collection is really a baby theme. But all of the papers, I think, and even the stickers and the Picture My Life cards they're just gorgeous floral patterns and plaids and things of that nature. And I just think that there are so many other ways that you can use it, even if you are not scrapbooking baby. My three kids are past the baby stage, and I'm done working on their baby books. But I just love this collection, and like I said, I think it's so versatile. So don't think to yourself, oh, baby, I don't have any use for that. There's definitely a way to use it. Now I am coming in with this pumpkin spice sticker sheet as well. There's a cute one on there that says, "Hey Cutie Pie," and so I thought I would put that down there. I really was the original inspiration for this page was just there was a little bit of orange in my daughter's sweater, and that was kind of where I picked, my thread color from. And then when I was looking at it after doing that stitching, I thought, hey, that looks like that new color papaya. And you know what? That As You Grow pack has a bunch of papaya in it. So that was just really kind of where this all started coming from. And I started pulling papers, and that was my inspiration. So I'm going to use some art glitter glue to adhere these wooden shapes down, and then I think it still needs a little something else. So this is a stamp set that I got from participating in the Close to My Heart May album retreat, and it's called Taking It All In. I believe it might actually be available, and if it is, I will leave that in the description below. But there are just a bunch of really great tiny little stamps in here, including this one that has like a little splatter, like a paint splatter look to it. And so I pull that out, and then I'm going to stamp a couple of those around my cluster with some papaya ink. And I mean, I know I need to do a little something else with this page. I've got a lot going on in that bottom corner. The stitching is kind of a bit of the focal piece, but there's still a lot of like empty space on this page. So that's why I'm kind of looking around this stamp set and kind of trying to see, is there anything on here that I can add around this or on my page just to kind of help fill some of that empty space. And so I do these little paint splatters, and then there's also this really itty bitty tiny open heart in there. And so I'm going to pull that out and put that on my 1x1 block, and I'm going to go around where those paint splatters are, and actually I'm going to stamp that one in Mulberry, which is another brand new color. So pretty. And Mulberry is also in that As You Grow paper collection, so that colors and some of those florals there. And so I'm just kind of adding a little bit of Mulberry, a little bit of papaya around this cluster. And then I'm like, all right, now what? Now off camera, I did pull in from my stash this little this butterfly brad. And you can see how old that is, the level 2 assortment from Bliss. And then I added 3 brads up in the top corner as well, just because I wanted to carry that through. And I'm like, okay, now still a lot of empty space. So I think I'm gonna try doing some splatters with white paint. Now I have only done this once before. And in retrospect, I wish maybe that I hadn't, because, you know, it was a little scary. I'm not going to lie. At this point, my page was like basically done. I'd spent a long time doing that stitching. I really didn't want to mess it up, but I just took some white paint. It's just some Martha Stewart craft paint, and then I took my water brush and I squeezed some out to thin it down, and then I'm just going to tap this white, watered down white paint onto my layout. And it's really subtle the way that it dries. It's not like a really bright spot of white. It looks a little bit darker here when it's wet. But I think what I would rather do next time, I don't have it yet, but close to my heart, is carrying some white like gloss spray. And so I think that I would probably prefer to do that. I also got a couple of water drops on my paper when I was doing this. And so I don't know, it just didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to, but at that point, it is what it is, right? And then off camera, I do come in and I do the exact same thing, only with my gold shimmer brush, just to add a few other little splatters. And then I decide, you know what, that's enough. I'm not going to mess with this page anymore in case I do something to mess it up. So here you can see a couple of the close-ups. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching and that you feel inspired. And if you like anything you see, I'll leave some comments down in the description below on how you can pick up some of those products. But as always, thank you for watching and happy crafting.